The unlucky lottery, when history dealt the cruelest hand. We often muse about the good old days, romanticizing eras long past. We imagine ourselves as knights, queens, or pioneering adventurers. But what if you were dealt the unluckiest hand imaginable in the lottery of birth? What if, purely by cosmic chance, you arrived in a period of human history so utterly bleak, so relentlessly cruel, that merely surviving was a monumental feat? Today, we're going to explore what might just be the absolute worst time in history to be born a human. Pinpointing the definitive worst time is a challenge, of course. Suffering is subjective, and every era has had its share of hardships. But to truly qualify for our unenviable title, we're looking for a confluence of factors: widespread disease, incessant warfare, economic collapse, environmental catastrophe, and a general lack of societal safety nets or upward mobility. Let's consider some contenders. The Stone Age. Brutal, short lives, constant threat from predators and starvation. But perhaps too simplistic, too primal to truly encapsulate the unique miseries humans inflict upon each other. The height of the Roman Empire? For many, a golden age of relative stability and technological advancement. Unless, of course, you were a slave, a barbarian facing Roman legions, or a citizen living through one of its many devastating civil wars or plagues. Still, not quite universally awful enough. No, our journey takes us to a period that consistently delivers on all fronts of human misery. A time when the fabric of society frayed, when despair was a constant companion, and death was a ubiquitous specter. We're talking about the late Middle Ages, specifically the mid-14th century in Europe. Imagine being born, say, in the year 1340. You wouldn't know it, but you're just 5 years away from the arrival of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, riding in on the backs of fleas and rats. The Black Death. This wasn't just a plague, it was an extinction-level event for a significant portion of the European population. Arriving in 1347, within just a few years, it wiped out an estimated 30% to 50% of Europe. In some regions, entire villages were depopulated. Imagine being a child, watching your parents, siblings, neighbors succumb to a horrifying disease, their bodies racked with boils, fever, and internal bleeding. There was no understanding of germs, no effective medicine, just fear, superstition, and an agonizingly certain death sentence. If you were lucky enough to survive the initial onslaught, what then? The world you knew was shattered. The societal structure crumbled. Farmland lay fallow due to lack of labor. Trade routes were disrupted. Famine, which had already been a recurring problem, became even more prevalent due to the agricultural devastation. But the Black Death wasn't a one-and-done event. It recurred. For centuries. Every few decades, new outbreaks would sweep through, reminding everyone of the fragility of life and the ever-present shadow of death. So, even if you made it past your childhood, you lived with the constant dread of the next wave. As if a devastating pandemic wasn't enough, this period was also defined by relentless warfare. The 100 Years' War, a brutal and protracted conflict between England and France, raged on and off for over a century. Imagine being caught in the middle of this. Your village could be raided by English longbowmen one day, and French knights the next. Fields were scorched, homes plundered, and civilians were often treated as collateral damage. There was no Geneva Convention. No rules of engagement. Just total war. And it wasn't just large-scale international conflicts. Feudal lords constantly bickered and fought amongst themselves, leading to localized skirmishes and banditry that made travel dangerous and life utterly unpredictable for the common person. The concept of a safe, stable home was often a fleeting dream. The economic and social fallout from the plague and constant war was immense. Labor shortages meant that peasants, those who survived, actually had a bit more leverage. This led to widespread social unrest and peasant revolts, like the Peasants' Revolt in England in 1381 or the Jacquerie in France. While these movements were born out of desperation and a desire for better conditions, they were often brutally suppressed, leading to more violence and death. Education was largely limited to the clergy and the very wealthy. Medical knowledge was rudimentary at best, often based on superstition and ineffective remedies. Sanitation was virtually non-existent, making disease a constant threat even beyond the plague. Life expectancy was abysmally low, with many children not surviving past their 5th birthday. So, if you were born in the mid-14th century, particularly in Western Europe, your life would have been a relentless struggle against overwhelming odds. You'd likely face famine, disease, war, social upheaval, and a near-total lack of control over your own destiny. There was little hope for advancement, little comfort, and constant fear. Compare that to today. While we face our own challenges, the sheer scale of widespread, unavoidable suffering in the late Middle Ages is truly staggering. We have access to clean water, medicine, education, and relative peace in many parts of the world. Even in times of crisis, we have global communication, humanitarian aid, and a collective understanding of disease that medieval people could only dream of. So the next time you find yourself complaining about a traffic jam or a slow internet connection, take a moment. Consider the unlucky soul who was born in the mid-14th century. Their lottery ticket was a definite loser. And perhaps, just perhaps, it will make you appreciate the incredible fortune of being born in the relatively safe, healthy, and interconnected world we inhabit today. What do you think? Was the late Middle Ages truly the worst time to be human? Or do you have another contender in mind? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the fascinating, and sometimes terrifying, depths of human history.